What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the second live stream of Critical Crypto. And today in about 15 minutes, we're going to be tuning in to the Twitter call on the Play to Earn Arcade with Michael Wagner, the CEO of Star Atlas. I've been covering a lot of different Star Atlas content on my channel, and tomorrow will be the live 426 event, so I'm practicing live streaming for that, as I do intend to live stream that and give my live reactions. So definitely tune in for that if you enjoy live streaming and you want to see me do that. But in the meantime, we're going to be talking about some things I'm excited about. Right now, the Atlas token has been hitting its high point in quite some time. You can see it's come down and cooled off a little bit, but it did just actually recently crack 1 cent, which is extremely exciting, and I do think that we will be going higher. We're definitely waiting for some people to come in. Haven't had anybody come in yet, but once we do, we'll start chatting with those people, and they can tune in to this call with us. You can also see that the POLIS token, 58 cents right now. It's come down quite a bit along with Ethereum. And really Ethereum is, of course, leading the pack per usual. But like I said, could we see POLIS hit $1 soon? I'm not sure. We did see Atlas get to a penny, and I did think that was going to happen. And it does look like it could be repeating maybe another leg up. So I've been holding on to my POLIS tokens, not trying to do anything yet. Not my POLIS, excuse me. My Atlas tokens, not trying to do anything with those yet, because I do see them going a little bit higher. So like I said, looking to see if anybody else is coming in yet. Not quite yet. But we will be chatting with people as they come in. And like I said, we're going to be going into the arcade AMA with Michael Wagner, Star Atlas call. I'll be live streaming that. So if you want to chat and you want to react to that with me, like I said, definitely hop in here. And something else I've been working on, I did just upload a video about Ravencoin today. I've been mining Ravencoin, and I've been actually making a small profit on that, which is exciting. But I do think it does have some potential. You can see that it's gone up to 29 cents before, and currently it is only, a little bit, I think it's a little under 3 cents now. It was over 3 cents a little bit earlier, but it's been grinding up with Ethereum, as it is a coin that you can mine with a GPU miner as well, and it's something that I've been doing. Like I said, none of this is financial advice. I'm not telling you should buy any of these coins, that you should be GPU mining. I'm just sharing with you my personal journey in cryptocurrency and the different successes that I've been having. If you're interested in cryptocurrency, like I said, definitely hit the like button, subscribe, and definitely tune into the live streams as they do come up as well, as I will continue to be doing this and practicing it. So like I said, this is the second one I've done. If you are enjoying the live streams, hit the like button. Something I'll share with you guys as well is these are my miner stats right now. You can see actually only $5.76 for the last 24 hours. I do have this PC turned off right now. I was mining with it as well, but I turned off the miner so that I could live stream for you guys. So I was getting a little bit more before that, but you can see I'm getting about 200 per day, which is pretty awesome, because obviously if it goes back up to 30 cents, that could be quite a return on my investment, depending on how long I stack them before they go up. So that's something that I'm doing right now. Like I said, mining the Ravencoin. Nobody yet, but we definitely had some people come in yesterday, and that was pretty awesome. I do appreciate you guys coming in. The people, if you are watching this right now, that came yesterday, and anybody else that comes in today. I'll be looking forward to talking to you guys as well. We're going to be tuning into this call in about 12 minutes, so I won't be talking as much. I'll just be reacting more to the things that I'm hearing once that happens, and I will be talking to people if they come in order to tune into the call with me, which will be pretty cool. Then something else that's going on right now, if you aren't aware, is the Star Atlas marketplace. It should be changing tomorrow on the 21st. I'm sure they'll be talking about it more during the 426 live event, which I would encourage you to go to if you're interested in Star Atlas. It is going to be in the Discord for Star Atlas. But you can see this right here is what the current marketplace looks like. And I personally have had some pretty good success with selling NFTs on this marketplace, actually. But I'm very interested to see what the new marketplace is like, as it's going to be an auction-style marketplace. And I've also had a lot of success with those in the past as well. So as you can see, different ships right now, the prices have been going up. 884 is pretty expensive for this ship, in my opinion, at least over the last few weeks. Obviously, the value of all cryptocurrency has been going up with Ethereum, so that may be bleeding over into these NFTs. However, like I said, to me, all these prices are also probably affected by the anticipation of the fact that this new marketplace is coming out. And actually, I will say something, 658.90 is pretty inexpensive, or the cheapest price I've seen on the Opal Jet in quite some time. So I'm actually kind of considering picking those up, as they haven't been that cheap for a while, and it is a question mark to see what they will be in the future. Now, it is a little bit misleading though, because like I said, the Atlas token is also up in value. So it's not going to be the same price as it was the other day for that reason. So if you look at the Opal Jet right now, the Atlas token being at 0.0091. Let's go ahead and see how much that would be for that Opal Jet right now. So we'll say 0.0091 times, we said 750, is $6.82, which is actually a little bit more. Well, I don't know actually. What was it? It was 0.007 for 750. So it is a little bit more, because there were some ships that were that price at 650, but I just did that for 750. So that's my mistake actually. Hold on, let's do it for 650. What am I doing? 650 times 0.009 is 585. Okay, that's a little bit more reasonable. That seems a little bit more like what it was previously. So you can see that. Where's our POLIS token at? Let's take a look at this in real time. This has been cooling off quite a bit, but it looks like it's finally maybe hit a bottom, and it's going to start coming back out. So it'd be interesting to see. Like I said, will this hit $1? I do not know. I could truly see it happening. At one point in time, its all-time high, $18.83. Makes $58 look like quite a bargain, you have to agree. Again, not financial advice, but that is definitely a big opportunity for a return on your investment in the event that it did go back up. And then Atlas. Let's refresh this. All-time high, 26 cents. And you can see that 0.009, it is under a penny again. It'll be interesting to see what happens here in the very near term. Over 12 months, you can see it looks like it is finally starting to grind, potentially back up. I mean, that is nothing compared to obviously this over here. But you can see last 7 days we've been coming up. Last 30 days we've been coming up. And you can see that continually going up here. And I'm not sure who just joined the stream, but thanks for joining the stream. How you doing? We're going to be listening in on this call with Michael Wagner here in 8 minutes with the arcade play to earn. They actually did follow my Twitter, which I greatly appreciate, because right now you can see I only have 50 followers, but I just started really pushing Twitter recently, so working to grow the Twitter. So definitely follow me on Twitter if you are active on Twitter as well. And it'll be interesting to see what is going on with this call. Hold on, let me go back to that right here, so that we are ready to join in the call here in a little bit, so we can see what they have to say right before the 426 event that is coming out. And like I said, the 426 event will be tomorrow for Star Atlas. Let's go ahead, and they had an advertisement for it. So let's take a look. What is it? Go 426 July 21st 2022. I don't want to say 1 p.m. Okay, so 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Star Atlas Discord. So there's going to be a lot of big announcements going on for that. I think personally, this is just a personal prediction, maybe not. I think they're going to be saying that POLIS staking is coming out, and POLIS has been going up quite a bit in value due to the fact that ETH is going up, but also I do think people are anticipating POLIS staking coming out. So it'll be interesting to see what they say. And we have about 7 minutes until the call is going to start. Let me go back to that screen again. There we go. And then Ravencoin, like I said, I've been mining Ravencoin. I did recently today upload a video earlier about why I decided to start GPU mining Ravencoin specifically. Right now the difficulty is down tremendously, so you can get a lot of Ravencoin for not that much effort. You can see right now my estimated total is 187. Those are my real-time stats. And yesterday, over the last 24 hours, I did make $5.75 in Ravencoin. And that is actually just a little bit more than what my electric bill is per day. So making a little bit in Ravencoin. I'm going to be, hodling that Ravencoin for when the value of all cryptos go back up, because if you're somebody like me, I definitely am a permabull when it comes to cryptocurrency. I do know that the market is down right now, and I don't think every single cryptocurrency in the world is going to be successful. I'm not, obviously completely unrealistic, but I do think crypto will be around for the long term. And there's actually obviously a lot of interesting things going on with the legislature right now and cryptocurrency as well, if you've been following that. But I'm not here to give legal advice or financial advice, just talking about different things I've been following while we are waiting for the Michael Wagner show at 5 o'clock. We have 5 minutes to go. And hopefully we'll be getting some pretty cool news during this. This actually was supposed to be going on a couple hours ago, and they actually just pushed it back a little bit. So it gave me the opportunity to be able to get it all set up and be able to stream it and just practice streaming like a live event. Because right now, like I said, 426 will be tomorrow, and I do intend to live stream that and give my live reactions. So that should be pretty interesting as well. And then something that I do also do, if you guys, I don't know if you know about Bitrue, this is an exchange I like. I was using Voyager, and I did have a little bit of money on Voyager actually, but I didn't lose much, thank God, because I do keep the majority of my cryptocurrency in cold storage, actually, which I highly recommend. If you want to protect yourself, especially with everything that's been going on with cryptocurrency exchanges. Again, not financial advice because I'm not here to give you that, but protect yourself, guys. Obviously don't leave your money where somebody else can take it from you or block you from it, because that's, a very scary thing, and I would hate to see that happen to anybody. We'll see what's going on right now with different coins I like to follow while we wait. So Atlas up 14%. I think Atlas is going to pop more personally. Again, don't buy it because I said that, but I have been holding it for the last couple of days. I picked it up at under 0.006, or actually under 0.007, like between 0.006, 007 a couple of days ago. I did actually sell my POLIS in order to do that, so not sure if that was the right play yet, but I just thought that Atlas had the ability to potentially really pop off higher, and I did do really well on Shibcoin actually last year, and it kind of reminds me of that in a way. So for me, I thought that the risk to reward was much higher. So that's just for me, right? Right move for me, maybe not for you, but just sharing my thoughts. And then another coin that I'm really into too is Songbird. I actually have 100,000 of those in cold storage right now at the cost of 3 cents. So I'm pretty excited to see where we can go with that. Obviously down a little bit because I bought it at 3 cents, but I could totally see Songbird popping off. Songbird, you can see, actually let's look at it on here because you can see it's a little bit cleaner of a interface in my opinion. On Songbird here. So 2 cents, but our all-time high, 71 cents. Could you imagine even if we get to like half of that with 3 cents? That'd be a huge return on my investment. So, like I said, I'm pretty excited to see where Songbird goes, especially because the Flare networks did just release recently as well. And Songbird is the test net for the Flare network. So, as that expands, hopefully Songbird will expand as well. But let's take a look back at Atlas. And we're about the same here. It's going to 24. I think, yeah, obviously we're going to come up a little bit on that. Ethereum, where are we at on this? Ether's just been popping off the last couple of days. I don't know if you follow crypto or not, but it's been a pretty rough time in crypto for the last few months. You can see this is on the 90-day right here. This is literally the highest we've been since literally June, beginning of June, right? And then look at this on 90-day. So finally to have a little bit of relief. Let's hope we can continue to turn that around. But it's nice to have a little bit of relief. Obviously, there's been a lot of optimism in all the different groups that I've seen for crypto, it's nice to see for everybody. But at the same time, hopefully we can really start grinding back to the upside now. But, we'll see. It's the one thing that does concern me. You saw I had Solana pulled up. Let's get Solana here. All right, so let's get our all-time. So this structure right here, you see it crash down like that. Really, this is kind of what Ethereum looks like right now, in my opinion. If you look right here, now let's look at our all-time. I'm not trying to be a fudster or anything, but see, it comes up, comes down, and then right here at the end, we have this fire up. So, like, how high is this going to go before we come back down again is the question in my mind, okay? Because we look at Solana, same thing. Boom, boom. We came up, and then hard crash to the downside. Like, I'm not saying we won't ever come back up again, or that I think Solana's not, I love Solana, but let's be real, you gotta be realistic. So right here, I'm, in my opinion, considering taking profits at some point here, because if Ethereum goes back down, it's gonna drag everything down with it. And then let's take a look at Bitcoin. Obviously, everything follows Bitcoin, and Bitcoin follows the stock market, and we got all that kind of stuff going on. But you can see right here, boom, Bitcoin price, same thing, boom, boom, comes down. So Bitcoin probably going to come up, pull everything up with it a little bit. But I really personally, again, I'm no master of charts or anything, but I don't really know that it's going to be coming back up to here very soon. Okay, so for me, I definitely always recommend taking profits, at least for myself. There's been some times that I haven't, and I've regretted it. So like I said, I will be looking for personally profit taking at some point. And the truth of the matter is that with Atlas, when a big event like this comes up and it builds up beforehand, a lot of times that's when the actual increase goes into something, and after the event you see the price plummet. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I could totally see that happening. But long term, again, I am still bullish. All right, guys, so it looks like we're about ready for the call. We'll go ahead and we will how do we join it though? Can I join this call? What's going on here? Listen live, here we go. So we're waiting for the event to start now. You can see it's hosted by Earn to play, or Arcade to Earn. I don't know why I called it Earn to Arcade. I don't know. Anyways, they obviously are a play to earn arcade that is built on Solana, which is pretty awesome. And then we are going to be having Star Atlas speaking. We're going to be hearing from Michael Wagner, the CEO, here shortly. And then is somebody talking? I don't know if anybody's talking. Let me see something here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Oh.
What's up, JP? What's up, Kaz?
Can we
Shout out to the Star Atlas account. I don't know who's on that.
Let's keep that going.
Mr.
Awesome.
Wagner, how are you?
Hey guys, doing good.
Hey,
How are you?
That's Swagner to you, Jerry.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I hit 30 this year, and I just kind of try to let go of being cool.
I never was.
How are you guys doing
never
today?
was cool, so I can relate.
Well, when you roll into Swagner, you get the pass in my book. You have the arcade blue check mark, if that means anything to you.
It's very meaningful to me.
Well,
Awesome,
yeah.
guys. Excited for this chat. I think it's going to be a good one. Always
Nice.
love hearing more about Star Atlas and their plans and all that fun stuff. So I believe we'll give it just a couple minutes here to share it out. If you guys are in the audience, make sure you share this space and get some people in here. Maybe we can ask nicely for Swagner to give us some alpha. No, but we'll see.
I know I'm the king of leaks, but I am going to be pretty conservative today. It's pretty monumental time for us. So
You've made it this long, right? So you can't leak it the day before, or people.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been gearing up for T6 Live tomorrow. And for anybody in the audience that maybe isn't familiar, just while we wait for a few more people to stream in, it is a product launch event that we're hosting tomorrow. So it's really exciting time for us at Automata, the team behind Star Atlas.
Yeah, it's exciting times. I think this is definitely like a week that we've all been, for the arcade team, been looking forward to for a while. Obviously, we're pretty bullish on what you guys are building, and so this is an exciting, conversation for us to be having. So yeah, thank you guys for taking the time. I'm glad we got the the kinks worked out the first run. It's a dry run, so sorry about that, guys.
Time zones are hard, man.
That was totally my fault. Thanks, GP.
No.
I totally didn't want to throw Az under the bus, but if she's gonna throw herself under the bus,
I will
totally
throw myself under the bus. That was totally my bad. Sorry, guys. But guys, you guys are already trying to like get the alpha out of swags. Like, come on,
I know,
space
right?
hasn't even started yet. You're gonna have your hands full, Mike.
You get in here
and if you're just joining, we shared our entire future strategy for the next 3 years just 3 minutes ago. So sorry you missed it, but
Sorry,
no recording.
Speaking, I was recording.
Yeah. So I think we've kind of given it enough time. So I do just want to kind of so I like to just let JP kind of do like the arcade intro real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit about Star Atlas. I think most people here probably have an idea of what you guys are doing, but if you guys after JP goes, if you guys could just give a quick intro to the game, just real quickly, an overview of kind of what's been going on and an update as to what's happening. Before we do that, though, I'd like to just give JP a chance to say anything he needs to say, and then Kaz can also add in anything that JP misses out on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it kind of short and sweet here, but yeah, for those that don't know about us, Arcade is an infrastructure platform for GameFi. Essentially, our goal, our ethos is to assist in onboarding the next wave of people into blockchain gaming and help make the space more sustainable. And a big part of what we do is collaborate with the leading games in the industry to provide support, education for new users that are coming into the ecosystem. Kind of use our mission pool model, which I think we're going to talk a little bit more about later, to lower.
We're
that
listening
barrier
to
entry and
Michael
help
Wagner,
people,
the CEO of Star Atlas, talk
benefit from
to
out-of-reach
Arcade,
assets, especially in games with those really high premium assets.
This group right here.
And yeah, we're just super excited to
Arcade
be here.
to Earn, and if you follow them right now, they're doing a giveaway for the 426 event.
Basically our inception.
So
and,
right now that's the call that's going on, and
it's a game and a team that we're very bullish on.
The CEO of Star Atlas, and then
excited to have the chance
Star
to
Atlas.
hear more.
They're doing a
from
call specifically
himself,
about Star Atlas
and,
in advance of the 426 event.
Throw
so I thought it'd be
fun
to kind of like live react to it,
community, and get some updates on where Star Atlas is going. But Kazi, feel free to add to that if you'd like. But then yeah, I think we're just excited to be here.
Yeah, no, not much for me to add. Like Josh said, we're pretty big fans of Star Atlas and what you guys are doing. And as far as premium assets go, I think I might have purchased the first wave of tree arrows that you guys put on sale within like the first 30 seconds. So, just
yeah, Kazi was like, I remember you were like. I mean, you were like some cracked out trader. I don't even know. Like you were like, I just spent $500 grand on 3 arrows. I've seen like you posting about it and stuff. So, yeah, no, it's been a journey for sure. It's been fun.
That's wild, guys. I remember us. If I recall, we did like an AMA interview style video format. Was it like May or June of last year? So. It's been a while, but it's good to connect with you guys. Love the support that you're showing us, and happy to be here. For what it's worth, that Tree Arrow is one of Danny's favorite ships. Actually, it is his favorite ship overall. For the audience, Danny Floyd's our Chief Product Officer and one of the co-founders with us at Star Atlas. So I think you have a beautiful asset on your hands, and when you see that thing in the showroom,
the last call like this that I listened to, by the way, was when I found out about Atlas.
Looking forward to it.
And it's when I bought the Atlas, and then the Atlas went.
Yeah, I think
JP
right and Kaz are definitely the two biggest Star Atlas fans I know. So they've been like, this is like Christmas for them, Michael. So, so kind of to move on from that though, just to give anybody who doesn't know maybe much about Star Atlas, I think maybe some of the arcade contingent is maybe here from different games. I know obviously your community's following you guys, but can you just talk to us a little bit about what Star Atlas is and kind of what you guys are attempting to build?
Yeah, of course. I will keep it a little bit brief. I see quite a few people in the audience that are pretty strong supporters, but just by way of introduction, so I'm Michael Wagner. I'm co-founder and CEO. I'm one of 4 original co-founders on Star Atlas, and that list consists of, as I said, Danny Floyd. He's our Chief Product Officer. he oversees all things game design, game development, essentially game director, and of course chief product officer. Jacob Floyd is our chief technology officer, a guy with deep experience in all really full stack development, but we have been working together. In fact, the three of us have been working together since my previous venture called Tokes that was launched in 2016. So we have a long history together, and Jacob is extremely talented in blockchain development. And then Pablo Quiroga, another gentleman that I've known since 2018, and he's a chief revenue officer, co-founder, and he leads up all things marketing, comms, business development, press, growth. So, and then really helps just keep the organization glued together. So really strong leadership team, but more importantly, several people from that I see in the audience. Ash, of course, Santi's been with us forever. In fact, taking over a new division that we carved out, the community division within the company, and so big congrats to him. But he's everybody from the Star Atlas community knows Santi. And I'm just kind of looking down through the list to see if there's anyone else from the team that I recognize. But, we've grown from those 4 people up to about 230 or 240 people today, across all departments, but heavily focused on product.
I didn't realize there was that many people.
So getting into what that actually
Star
is.
Atlas departments, that's crazy.
We're building a grand
big
strategy, space exploration, massively multiplayer online game. We conceptualized this idea back in 2020. And, we made the early determination that we want to build this to AAA quality development standards, or, you could even make the argument quadruple A when you start to integrate the economic and financial components that are only possible because of blockchain and cryptocurrency. But from a product design standpoint, AAA, highest caliber game development. And that's really, that's the primary focus. It is really just the start. We've also been pretty heavily focused on developing out this concept of the metaverse, and it gets thrown around a lot. To me, this idea of the metaverse
a lot of people don't know
really an immersive virtual world
that
encapsulates virtually everything that we do online today. It's the next generation of the internet. And so it's all things like socializing, right? Spending time with people in a digital environment, but also workplace experiences, education, labor markets, true economy, right? Things like commerce, e-commerce, all these things being disrupted or displaced in some way by these virtual worlds. And we see that as really the long tail opportunity, the true potential of what we're building, with gaming being the spearhead, and gaming being a primary application that will live inside these metaverse entry points, if you will. And even that is like the I would say it's not true to say that Star Atlas is building a metaverse or the metaverse. In my opinion, the metaverse already exists. It's around us. And all of these projects that are building immersive worlds are really entry points. But in the future, the vision is that all of these different experiences are interconnected some way. So it's interoperable maybe on blockchain, but also interactive with all other applications within, again, I keep saying this, but within these immersive virtual worlds. So that's kind of where we want to go. But the more important thing in the short term is that we see this AAA quality gaming experience being built in Unreal Engine 5 with cinematic quality graphics and living on the Solana blockchain as being an extremely attractive feature to a mainstream audience. Billions of users around the world, of gamers around the world, that would want to participate in the game itself, because first and foremost, the game is intended to be fun. It's exciting, it's thrilling, it drives a dopamine response. And so we're heavily focused on that and making sure that people have a good time. But we also see that as a method of recruiting people into the blockchain space and to cryptocurrency as a whole, and then also extending that out into the alternative financial ecosystem that is crypto and DeFi and all of this innovation that exists all around us. So maybe I'll pause there, but we're super excited. We've been building now for pretty strongly for about a year and a half. We conceptualized in 2020, officially launched in January of 2021, and it's been a pretty incredible journey for all of us on the team.
Yeah, that's crazy. I actually bought my first
I really love
December
it. Thank you for that kind of intro.
For that much
that was really good.
About the game.
And I think a really good introduction to what you guys are building. But I loved a lot of things you said, especially, kind of the metaverse kind of being here, right? And it's around us already. I know that's a lot of like thought leaders and KOLs and people who are building other, kind of immersive worlds like you guys are, kind of all seem to say the same thing. And, you guys obviously are in the position that you're in for a reason. And you guys are doing things at a very high level, and it's really exciting. And I think you guys are going to be one of those, early examples of like, oh, this is where the paradigm shift happened, and it's really exciting to see. And just cool really like thankful that there's people like you guys doing things out there in the space.
You got in on this level.
Kind of with that, I do want to give you guys the chance to talk about what's happening tomorrow. I know you said that you kind of have to hold a lot back, and I totally understand that and respectful of that, but do want to give you a chance to maybe talk about what you guys have been building up to, what you guys have been leading into and teasing for a little bit, and what
are we going to hear?
Kind of what's going to be happening. With that whole lead up and that marketing that came into Spirit, kind of rounding up tomorrow and having a big event for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to leak too much here, but I think where I'll start with this is just maybe mentioning that we at Automata really have 4 core product lines that we're developing right now. The first is really the flagship, and it's that AAA gaming experience in Unreal Engine, and we've been doing significant work in the development of really the entire vertical slice of what it means to create a video game concept like that, working with a number of co-development studios, and I'll get into that maybe a little bit later, but working on that AAA gaming experience at the same time that we're also building a pretty extensive web-based experience. And we originally were envisioning this as being like just a true mini game, mostly text-based, still on blockchain, which is another fundamental component of how we build, but still on blockchain, but all two-dimensional, living in browser. But we made the decision this year to pivot. We think it'll be far more interactive and enjoyable to transition that into a full 3D web experience. And so that's currently operating under this project codenamed Scream, which was ship configuration, resource extraction, and missions. We use a lot of acronyms for our code, for our project names, like SCORE, which was launched last year. It was ship commissions on remote expeditions, which is kind of this lending your ships out to the fleet model. But anyway, we made this decision to move forward with using Play Canvas, which is a game development environment for 3D assets in browser. And so everything's kind of WebGL based, and it's a territory control game that is pretty deep in development right now. So flagship product, the web-based game. We also build out quite a few infrastructural tools that are necessary for the native integration of blockchain into those different game development environments. And maybe just by way of one example, we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but we built a product that's called the Foundation SDK, or Software Development Kit. And this is actually the first of its kind, to my knowledge, which is a native Solana wallet integration directly into the Unreal Engine client itself. So when you load up the showroom, when you load up the Star Atlas game client, your wallet will be directly connected to that experience, and you will not need to deal with, say, alt-tabbing between a web wallet to sign transactions on actions that you're taking while you're in the game. We maintain the immersion, and we don't break that experience. So there's a number of different tools that we're actually building, and that's just one of them. And then we actually have a mobile experience that this is maybe the alpha for the day, but we also have a mobile experience companion app that's still very much in early concept phase, but that's kind of entering into the development pipeline as well. And so, over the course of this year, what we've really been focused on is kind of all of those things. Oh, sorry, and actually there is a fifth, and I would consider it a standalone product line, and it's the marketplace experience, and we call it the Galactic Marketplace. It's what we really kicked off with in 2021. It facilitated the Rebirth campaign, or those multimedia meta poster sales that kind of propelled us to growing the community and getting the initial people involved in Star Atlas, and getting people immersed into the background and story and the lore of Star Atlas itself. But so we also have this marketplace that we've developed, and that will be fully integrated into every one of those other experiences or product lines that we're developing out. So over the course of this year, naturally, we really wanted to dedicate the majority of our energy to game development. That's what everybody is looking for from us, and that's what we're most enthusiastic about building. Now, depending on which one of those products you talk about, obviously
really got to figure out how to see my
the
screen
timelines for product development differ quite significantly.
The chat.
But
that's not too bad. I can see pretty good there.
So, with respect to Unreal Engine, I had mentioned that we're working with co-development studios. We made an announcement earlier this year that we partnered with Spirasoft. It's a co-dev studio. We now have 60 people dedicated full-time working on Star Atlas, and it was in direct collaboration with their team, doing the game and map development, and even working to some extent on the blockchain integration. That our team internally, which serves as more of the hub in this hub and spoke model of managing their team and managing the art direction and actually creating the art assets themselves, and getting that to Spearsoft and then getting them to develop within UE itself. So that's been ongoing, and the first product to come from that will be coming this year, in fact, relatively soon. And what that's called is the Volant Studio Showroom. So first immersive environment, multiplayer enabled, maybe not on launch, but it will be multiplayer enabled. And it gives our users, our players, the opportunity to enter into a digital map, load in any of the NFT assets that they own, and start to explore what we're capable of at Automata. We also wanted to spend a lot of time working this year on one of the other fundamental elements of what it means to build in Web3, and that's on the DAO, right? The decentralized autonomous organization. Everybody listening in probably has pretty solid comprehension of what a DAO is, but maybe not entirely what it implies, especially for a world like the one that we're building, which to us we see as the method that allows the perpetual development and continuation of the Star Atlas world and universe itself. We are building a product, obviously. We'll continue maintaining and building upon this product, but when you couple decentralized governance with an intrinsic economic structure that allows value to be captured off of all activity in the metaverse, and then utilize that to fund future development and future teams and integrations and extensions and continuations of the title, it really becomes something that, even if Automata as a team disappears at some point in the future, or we're no longer involved on the development of it, we actually think that Star Atlas could live for decades or centuries or really beyond. Right? We're kind of forming a new nation, a new government, right? With embedded financial and monetary policy kind of baked into the architecture. So the DAO has been something that we focused heavily on this year, and again, very excited about the future release of the DAO. Version 1 of this, or maybe V0 of this, if you will, is going to be primarily focused on some financial incentives, so being able to lock your tokens and then earn POLIS emissions off of that. But in the future, it also includes rights to treasury management around the Atlas that's been collected, some 200 million Atlas that's been collected through Score just in the last 7 months, as well as a share of things like marketplace fees, if and when those get introduced, and other avenues for revenue collection. And then ultimately, naturally it leads into the introduction of discourse for conversations around potential proposals, and then the proposal system, and then the on-chain proposal, and also on-chain voting mechanism.
That's what I was saying. I was like, yeah, it is good, but I was like, wow, that's pretty visionary. But interesting that they said they started out as like a
the usability.
2D,
we get that
web-based browser game, and then they're like, no, we're just going to go straight to Unreal 12 engine. It's pretty funny.
It will be attractive to the mainstream, and people that don't necessarily want to deal with the friction or burden of learning everything that many of us know about crypto already, or that don't have the experience that we have.
We're listening to the CEO, Michael Wagner, right now, talking about Star Atlas trying to get
we wanted to simplify that, clean it up, make it feel more like an MMO auction house style, and rolling that out as well. So those are some of the major things. Oh, and then of course Scream, if I didn't add that on there, but of course Scream, the web-based game, is also something that's pretty heavily in development, and I'm just running through my memory here, and there's so many things. We also have quite a few pieces of multimedia content that will be coming out this year as well. So
maybe someday they'll let me be a speaker.
Look for a Star Atlas graphic novel, which is kind of a comic book format series that's going to be released on a regular basis, as well as a new podcast series that will be coming out later in the year. Podcast not in an interview style, but rather a storytelling style. So just a lot going on. And if I may, maybe just getting one last thing here, kind of getting into what's going on tomorrow with 426 live, and maybe, by the way, as a preface, 426, this is really a meme from the community itself. We had quite ambitious goals about what
this
our
microphone
timelines would look like, and often
the one that I'm talking into. I'm not like right next to it while I'm talking. Like if I get closer to it, I can be quite a bit louder.
4 to 6 weeks, and so
or just like move it.
Saying that enough times,
but I was trying to keep it.
It just became mimetic, and so we want to
talk over the call,
and especially
right
now that we're on the precipice of product delivery. We think it's appropriate to brand our product launch events as 426 Live. But just a month ago, we hosted the first of a similar style event, and that was called COPA, the Council of Peace Assembly. And it was really incredible at bringing the community all together. The format for that was an opportunity for all of these guilds, or DACs as we call them, decentralized autonomous corporations, to present themselves to the world and to the broader Star Atlas community.
Yeah, I'm more interested in that.
And it was kind of a recruiting tool for them as well. But we got
figure out how to start one of those.
39 different major guilds. In fact, the club I see right
join a guild
here,
or something.
they took third place overall in this event. But it was a 7-hour, pretty much all day event, hosted in Discord. We had music from Bassjackers. We had a breathwork session. We had computer giveaways through a partnership with iBuyPower. We had
I want a computer.
Multiple presentations from people on the team, a keynote from myself, and all of these presentations, 15 presentations from the top selected guilds around Star Atlas. And it was just an incredible day. And we're still kind of in the midst of this crypto winter, if you will. And just to the energy and like the enthusiasm, the excitement, the passion around Star Atlas from all of these community members still being so present, despite the fact that like all of this negative kind of sentiment is coming from crypto and from the macro economy. It just felt really good to us, and it was well executed. And I'm just super looking forward to how tomorrow goes, because we've been planning for this for a while.
Should be interesting to see. Hopefully it's
so I think this is where usually we'll hop in and say, Michael, take a drink of water.
Yeah, he said so much. It's so hard for me to follow up. Like I have a million more questions than I had 5 minutes ago.
Hey, you asked for the alpha, and Michael always brings the alpha, so alpha dropped.
Yeah, you can ask the team. Sometimes once I start talking, you can't shut me off, so you can interrupt me anytime in the future.
Oh, dude, if I do that, they'll come at me with pitchforks, dude. They don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from you. So I'm very aware of my job here, Michael.
No, that was great.
Yeah,
I think COPA was really inspiring in the way that it brought, it proved just how strong the community is, even still, like you said. So I think that was really cool to see. Even in a bear market, everyone rallying together. Just super inspiring. But I have a quick question. I'm going to hop in front of Fresco. So, I love what you said about the metaverse is all around us already. We're big advocates of like an open metaverse plan, right? So like, having this open, community driven online virtual experience. Do you think that, where do you see Star Atlas kind of fitting into that? Like, do you guys have plans to be increasingly interoperable with other, like, meta worlds, I guess, or projects that are kind of developing in the space? Or do you kind of see each of these meta worlds as they were kind of siloing off?
100%. So, what we don't want to create here, I guess let me start. Web3 philosophy is fundamentally different than, traditional Web2 development or in our case, thinking about the way the traditional studios develop games, oftentimes kind of creating these siloed walled gardens, prohibiting players from transferring assets or transferring accounts or selling any of their in-game assets to other players, and keeping it intentionally restrictive because that's how they maintain power and control and kind of retain autonomy over the underlying economics. And obviously we want to do things completely differently, right? So I think the idea of interconnectedness and interoperability is inevitable. For me, it's a question of timing and technology. So
it's like
in the case of Star Atlas,
with
timing, we do want to be protective over the intellectual property that we develop today, and we do want to ensure that everything that gets released for Star Atlas meets the caliber and quality standards that we set for ourselves, quite a high bar or higher. And I believe that the opportunity for contributions and user-generated content will exist in the future, and it's certainly something that we want to support. But it's just again a question of like, what does that timeline look like, and how concrete is our foundation before we start introducing those elements and start diluting what we believe to be the optimal vision for Star Atlas at this stage. So, but on the technology front, there's a couple of complications, and it's I would say at least threefold. The first is things like interoperability on chain. Now that's a problem that's actually presently being solved. We're starting to see more bridges open up. Whether or not those bridges are truly trustless is a bigger outstanding question in my mind. But moving between, say, Solana and Ethereum, that's possible today, and Solana and most other chains, or other chains with other chains, right? Like, this is a problem that's starting to get solved already.
Yeah, kind of.
In the case of game development, what we have to consider are things like the game engines and asset creation. So a ship that we designed that's a nanite-enabled model to live in
Speaking
Unreal
of which, I hate
isn't
Ethereum-based
necessarily
games.
compatible
They're so expensive.
with Unity, and it certainly isn't compatible with a voxel-based ecosystem like Sandbox. And so there's a requirement, if you want one asset to be reflected in multiple environments, that somebody actually has to go and do the underlying work to create that interoperability. Who's going to do that work? Who's going to pay for it? These are things that I think we as a company could even resolve, or could quite easily be resolved through things like a DAO that happens to have a treasury of assets that it can spend on this specific type of content creation. So I think that's valuable. I just don't think we're there yet, and the economic incentives need to align. And then the third part, which may or may not be the more complicated to resolve, is the idea of like, is there economic alignment between the projects themselves? Part of the value of NFTs is this idea of scarcity, of digital scarcity. We model our economy based on what we believe to be appropriate for long-term sustainability of user growth and asset inflation and reward structures. Well, if you start allowing just assets from every other ecosystem to enter into your economy before it's at a stage where it's mature enough to be able to absorb that, then it's very likely to self-destruct if it's done too early. So kind of ties back to my other point around timing. But these are things that I think need to be solved, and it's going to require a whole lot of conversation amongst different parties and communities. And I see the value also. I just want to mention, I do see the value of enabling this cross-ecosystem collaboration and free flow of users, if you will, between these environments. But I just think it's going to take some time.
So I'll jump in real quick. Fresco lost his spot again. So I'm genuinely curious. So and Kazi, I don't know if you want to talk about this, because I know you've been deep diving, SMS and all of that. Do you want to talk about that? If you're with us?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I know Swags kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, but I would like to know, do you guys have any plans to integrate with Solana's mobile stack? Not just from like a mobile game, but maybe like some sort of like app-enabled dashboard that maybe lets you like manage all your stuff, or maybe even like the DAO itself. Do you guys have any like plans regarding that at this moment?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question? I think I missed the first part.
Yeah, so like how Solana just released their mobile stack for developers to create like essentially apps on for their phone. So I was wondering if you guys have any plans for some sort of integration into that once it's made available.
We certainly do, and we do. Being very early adopters on Solana, we have a close relationship with their team. I still chat with Raj and Toli, and so we do have some plans. I won't share too much right now, but we do have some opportunities ahead of us for integration with that. And for what it's worth, I think what they're doing with the mobile hardware development.
I totally agree. I don't know if you heard they're making a Solana cell phone.
I think it does bring.
Did you hear about that? Like an actual Solana cell phone, which is like.
Directly,
I mean, it's going to be an Android phone, but supposedly it's supposed to be like heavily integrated with Solana.
Yeah, 100%. These are certain conversations I've had internally on our side too. That hey, we are starting off on Solana, and I think this is something we should definitely explore. So, just love to get your thoughts on that.
I'll see if I can find something.
I think that there's going to be a lot of cool Web3 native applications built on the phone. I think the most challenging part of what they're doing is, distributing hardware with any form of new operating system, because you have these entire ecosystems of developers that are already experienced with building, apps for like native apps for iOS,
July
or for
14th,
Android.
2022.
And so there might be a learning curve there, but from my perspective, I also see this potential for the Web3 native developers that exist today, which is a rapidly growing segment of the industry.
I'm going to read more about that after this.
Any way to interface with hardware for a mobile device, that is. And so this could be kind of a first mover advantage for them in being able to attract that audience and become the ecosystem for Web3 mobile development.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I think we see things in a very similar way regarding that. But yeah, no, Josh keeps unmuting. What's up, Josh?
No, I was just going to tell Jerry to jump back in line and take control of this ship before you ramble about Solana's mobile stack for the next hour. I know that's where you're headed.
No, I'm good.
They got so much fun made of them when they announced that like I want that thing to succeed too, right? So, but I do kind of want to pivot like the conversation just real quickly, and I want to just, Michael, I want to like kind of get your perspective on kind of where GameFi's at currently and where it's headed. And obviously this is all a bridge that we cross together. Everybody that's involved in it to get to where we want to go, right? Is obviously mainstream adoption. I kind of want to just get your thoughts on how what are you guys doing to tackle some of those issues of onboarding new users? I mean, it sounds like you guys have a lot of plans for that, like seamless integration, right? Not needing to like alt tab. Probably pretty seamless like lending protocols. So I want to kind of just gain your thoughts on where you think we're currently at, and if we're in a good space, and how do we get?
I won't go to the bathroom yet. It's probably almost over anyway.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean,
we're listening to Michael Wagner right now, the
still
CEO.
In a pretty nascent stage of
talking about
this
future advancements of Star Atlas
that is blockchain enabled gaming. Maybe to respond, I like to categorize several different development methodologies that Call of Blockchain Gaming or GameFi kind of consists of, and it's kind of an evolutionary process, if you will, or an extensionary process. But the kind of the first and easiest.
There's a lot of people coming in Solid 100, but I think I need to be more engaging
to simply
because
build
obviously
a game
people are not
engine,
sticking
use
around
Unreal
because
Engine,
I'm not sitting here talking to people on the screen. But learning experience, right, for maybe the 426 event
tomorrow.
Not
really a blockchain game, but there is intrinsic value and benefit to the user. I'm fully supportive
we had like 3 or 4
that
people
methodology. The ability for free flow of assets between users and immutability and censorship resistance and permissionless systems, like just adding NFTs and the transaction flow between users and providing that true sense of ownership or real true ownership to that gamer, the player, the user, it is an advantage. However, you can it can get substantially more complex than that. And so the next evolution would be to incorporate two elements of tokenization, which is a crypto native economy. So, many people know, in our case, that's Atlas. That's the in-game transactional currency. It is the fundamental unit of account throughout the Star
So what's
Atlas
annoying
metaverse,
is right now there's a pipe that burst
the play
out
to
front
earn
of my
economy,
complex,
how we can
so my
actually
water's off. It's
distribute
been off for
a form
since
of
this morning.
income
So
to players for participating in activity throughout the game. Now, that in and of itself also adds complexity in terms of economic design, but to the extent that you're able to create balance of capital sinks and utility and store of value of a unit of account, as well as distributing it and essentially inflating it into the economy, and that becomes sustainable, then it's truly beneficial for all participants in terms of time spent. And while we don't want this to feel like people are playing Star Atlas because they're working, that's certainly not our objective. The idea that if you can spend an hour of time playing a game and you can have a great time doing it, and then, hey, at the end of that period, you actually get economic value in return as well, that's meaningful. Well, that's pretty powerful. And it's
Undead Blocks is a cool game like that too, actually. They have a free tournament coming up in like 10 days.
Largely those that are coming from, say, emerging markets or developing countries where, average standard of living, it happens to be quite low. It happens to be less than $1 per day. And so it becomes a very empowering tool for people to identify new opportunities for labor in digital environments. Right? You can either play the game, or you could even work for somebody that's playing the game. And it's not exploitive if it's a highly competitive marketplace for labor, wherein you can identify quite easily who's willing to pay you the most competitive wage. Right? So it's exploitive when you're geographically locked into a location and you have no way of escaping that. And the people that happen to be in power are the ones that happen to control wages. So we think that this is quite a competitive environment and a big advantage. But the second form of tokenization is through these DAO structures. So actually giving people ownership over the ecosystem itself and the direction and control and future, and enabling things like governance and treasury management. We think these are also very powerful. So incorporating that into a game system, while complex, has significant advantages. And then the third development methodology, and really the most sophisticated, the most challenging by far, is to begin abstracting logic from the game environment itself and developing that on the blockchain. So using blockchain as really a back-end game server of sorts, as the method for delivering game content. And I maybe just caveat here quickly, like we're certainly not in a position today where we can say we have a totally serverless game environment that doesn't run on anything Web 2, nothing in the cloud. Like that doesn't exist today, but that is a vision for what can possibly exist in the future. Obviously, it adds complexity and risk in that, now we're building on-chain programs to execute certain functions. So in the case of, Score that we launched in December, resource management and restocking or resupplying of resources. So purchasing the resources are on-chain assets, and then supplying them to your ships. Those are all on-chain functions. I'm just going to mention the club here again. Actually, you know what? I'll circle back to it. Those are on-chain functions. And things that will be coming in Scream are, even things like movement around the map, engagement with other players. So when you enter into a battle and the outcome of that engagement, again, resource management, cargo space management, hangar space management, like all of this different functionality, primarily economic today, can actually be driven and managed and run on chain. Ultimately, the vision is that in the future, maybe we can even deliver full decentralized game servers that live on the blockchain. And so we as a company, we at Automata, who have a vision of ultimately turning this thing over to the world, we are no longer a central source of authority over everything that happens at Star Atlas. That's kind of the ultimate dream. You get to that point and you become an ecosystem very much like Bitcoin is, in which there is no way that even if we as a company were, say, shut down by regulators or some regulatory authority, well, the game will always continue to run as long as an internet connection exists, because there will be people all over the world that have an interest in operating the network and continuing on the vision. So like that's really cool. It's really ambitious. I don't know if we'll ever get there, but that is where we'd like to take it. But the other part of this that's actually very powerful is that we then also open up the world for external content creation. So we talked a little bit earlier about interoperability, right? And it's one thing to have, say, user-generated content that lives inside Star Atlas, where right now we are acting as a gatekeeper as to what can get into Star Atlas, but there's nothing preventing people from developing ancillary services and experience that are associated with Star Atlas, and we fully encourage that type of development as well.
That's crazy,
right?
dude.
So now, because certain actions all live on the blockchain, well, it's
Like
easy for some other developer to create a product or service that actually interacts directly with that is unstoppable. And I think that's very cool. And this is where I will circle back to the club, just because it's I see them right at the top of the list here, and it's kind of top of mind. But they created something called the pit stop tool, and the pit stop tool was developed to create an easier experience for people to resupply all of their ships. We intentionally designed Score so that there was some level of interactivity required. And we didn't want a purely passive method of generating Atlas. It's supposed to be a game. We wanted you to interact with the with the site, with the DApp, so that you felt like you were at least engaged in Star Atlas in some way. And so, it required some effort to go through and purchase all of the resources that you need, and also go in and then resupply each of your individual fleets. Well, the club looked at that and said, "But we don't want to do it that way. We want one click, so we can kind of get this done quickly in a day." At least that's my assumption. Maybe they can jump in and comment if that's not true. But they created a tool that allows you with one click to essentially purchase all of the required resources and restock all of your fleets. And they charged nothing for it. There was an option to add a tip on there, but otherwise they charged nothing for it. But that's a great demonstration of what's going to be possible with on-chain logic, and that will extend itself to almost every aspect of what we're doing at Star Atlas in the long term.
I think I could listen to Michael talk literally all day.
Go ahead, JP.
That was awesome. No, that was awesome. Yeah,
just making my stream interesting.
I was just gonna say, I think what really excites me about the future of what you guys are doing is that it really seems like Scream is like, it, in and of itself, it's going to be such a fun experience that, a lot of games stop there, right? It's like, that what you guys are producing for that is the end goal for a lot of the games that I think we see building in the space. So it's exciting to see that you guys are putting such effort into something, making it fun and engaging and exciting, and something that requires a lot of strategy, and that just be, kind of a mini game of sorts to roll out along the way. I think that's really cool. And I'm not sure if this is already public information or not, but I know that you guys have mentioned that you're going to be rolling out additional modules like as the years go on. Is it public information yet, or is it something you can share about kind of what comes next after Scream, like in terms of adding on to the user experience, or is that something that you guys are still kind of working out?
I'll say it's not public information because the reality is we don't entirely know yet what the next iteration is going to be. We are heavily focused on this current pre-alpha release.
Right.
I mean, I say that, but I guess a caveat that as well, and just mention that we had to slim it down a lot because we do have a target timeline for release on this, and so it meant cutting out a lot of the features that we think are going to be desirable ultimately, but wouldn't fit within the schedule that we've outlined for ourselves, and so we kind of have it at least 5 or 10 more enhancements. What I would mention with respect to Scream and why it is distinguished from the way that we built Score is that when we started doing the game design on Scream for this year, we knew that what we wanted to build was something that would also have perpetuity behind it as well. So like Score, we ultimately knew Score was not going to last forever. It was kind of a stopgap measure, but it was important for us to drive utility to people that owned the NFTs, that purchased all these ship NFTs from us last year. And so it was a method of us activating the economy and creating
That's
some
cool. It's
kind
one
of
of the only
economic
people that
loops
really care
and delivering
about
a
giving
return of
utility to
value
NFT.
to people who
Which
were early
I always tell
supporters.
people that I'm like,
But Scream is
one of
about
the only
is
NFTs
something
you can
that's
get
going
that
to be
actually like does something, because
continuously
you can at least stake it
enhanced
and
over
get some
time.
rewards for it.
So
In the spirit of perpetuity, like at full UE5 launch of this fully immersive experience, are these two kind of economies going to live separately, or is there going to be overlap between like the actions you take in Scream? And this may be something you guys are still working on, I'm not sure, but that just popped into my mind when you said that, whether or not it's going to be kind of their own thing, or if there's going to be overlap in the experiences to where like I'll have to play both of them for certain things.
it's a great question. So a lot of this is still kind of an R&D, if you will. Obviously, what we're doing is pretty experimental. When we did make this shift this year, there was so originally the idea was, okay, essentially the web client's going to be a simplified version of all of the same things that you can do inside Star Atlas, core, if you will, the Unreal Engine version.
Definitely
this was a bit of a pivot in game design when we were creating Scream, and so there is a little bit of a break in the gameplay mechanics. With that being said, we do want it to be a semi-integrative experience. So there will be, and we have to kind of we're theory crafting right now exactly how that's going to work. But there should be integration points between Scream and the Unreal client. So I guess I'm not going to elaborate too much right now because it's still kind of speculative on our side as well as to what exactly that's going to be. The final point I will make on this quickly, though, is just that what I don't want to do is have a requirement to engage in both, right? Like if you just want to play in Unreal Engine, you should have the opportunity just to play in Unreal Engine. And if you just want to play in the web client, you can just play in the web client. But there will probably be some components that tie those economies together. And again, thinking through how we develop the architecture of on-chain logic.
So it's almost like two games.
There's going to be
put
some
into one, then, is what it sounds like?
reusability of the programs that we deploy for Scream that actually puts our Unreal Engine
and X5
on a fast track.
Looking at the Pierce
when
X5
art is ready, when the client is ready, we already have the logic built as well, and it will be battle tested because it should have been running in Scream for some time.
This guy right here. It was actually the first ship I bought, but when I bought mine, I bought it in like December, and it was like almost full price for one of them. And then I bought a bunch. I bought a ton of ships,
like user-generated content and like skins.
I just
kind of like mods on ships and anything like that.
I've sold a lot of Pierce X4s,
and you were talking about some like UGC a little bit earlier, and I think somebody just wanted a little bit of clarity on like whether that's going to be an option
for a while. But I sold them all at a
the short answer is yes.
Profit. You saw, I think you were watching when I listed them the other day.
Just a question of timing.
I sold all of those that I listed
but,
at those prices.
One of the things that Danny's team is actually working on right now is this like skin creator tool. So we've all seen these fantastic character creation tools now. The people like Cyberpunk 2077, right? Like you can create one of the coolest characters, and a lot of games are now doing this, where you spend a lot of time designing your avatar because you have a sense of association and affiliation with that digital character. So we're looking at
speaking of like what he's talking about with avatars, there's this call I was on like this just the other day called Kira. The game is called Kira, and apparently the whole point is to integrate any NFT into Kira from any game, and like
I think it's
play that
really
NFT
cool idea
in the
for us
game.
to enable
It's like,
people
but it's like a Fortnite type battle royale
enhancements,
type,
if you will, or those assets
game. I don't think there's building
design,
in it, but
for ships and for other things,
put your NFTs
even
into
buildings.
It, which is kind of interesting.
Maybe you're an architect
I've never
and you want
heard
to
of anybody doing
you don't even
like
want to play
that
the
before.
game. You just want to design buildings that live in Star Atlas. Well, giving them the ability to create those assets and then sell those to other people. So, the thing that's often on my mind is really thinking through the economic structure of all of this. And so we have to work through exactly how that works, but it is something that we fully anticipate supporting.
So what you're saying is I'm going to be able to put a banana on my ship?
If you want to put a banana on your ship, totally, and you can name it Bodie McBoatface if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, shout out Banana Down.
Sorry,
let's fucking go.
I think that's what it was.
Do you guys have some time for some audience questions?
Sure.
Yeah, so anybody who is listening, if you guys want to request, and we'll start to bring people up one by one. In the meantime, JP or Cosby, you guys, do you have any kind of last questions to wrap up?
How to request.
Go ahead and shoot now. And if not, Jorge, I think he has some stuff he wants to talk about.
There'd be like,
I mean, I have a million questions,
you know
but
what I mean?
unless
I
I
don't know
invite
how to-
Michael to
no
move
clue
in
how
with
to do
me,
it.
I don't know that we're going to be able to get through all of them. But you know, I have a pretty
Oh
nice
man,
house
I
if
used
you're
to have
interested,
so
just let
many
me know.
more
But
ships,
other than
bro.
that,
I sold a ton of them.
I think
sold
that
a ton at a
we probably need
profit.
to
I'm
wind
waiting for the
down,
new
Sure.
marketplace because I think
Buddy,
I'll be able
I'm
to
not-
get them
I'm
for
not presently
cheaper
looking for
with
roommates,
the
but I
new
appreciate the offer.
auction style market.
All right.
If you are savvy, like with your buys and sells, and you watch the market a lot, you probably get really good
I
with it.
think awesome conversation today, and I think that the thing I just wanted to add was that we are having a Gleam contest, and I would love to everybody to kind of take some time to go on there and do some entries every day. Every entry, it gets you closer to some of these ships. I think the biggest thing to highlight is not only that the value behind the ships that we're giving away, but not only the experience that you're going to have by as what we just heard from Michael, from what he's building, and also the revenue that you're going to be able to produce from these games. So I think this is just a great time to let everybody know that go ahead, share it, go join
You
it,
can
go
see I
go
have
do everything you can to get as many entries as you
240,000.
can.
This was up higher earlier, but I'm waiting to sell still. I think it's going to go higher.
Well, I
but
think on that too,
I have
like
a lot of
who doesn't
Atlas.
want to
I'm
fly
waiting
around in
to-
space in
I've
a
been
kick-ass
selling my
ship, right?
NFTs off the Atlas.
And those
I'm
ships are
gonna
pretty
wait
awesome that you
until
guys
the
have there on
marketplace,
that
and I'm
giveaway.
gonna
Yeah,
try to bid
Jorge, am I eligible to win?
and get
'Cause,
better
like,
ships
I
for
kinda
cheaper.
need-
Hopefully, that's my.
I think I need a
JP,
couple
you
That's my
are not
strategy,
eligible
man.
to
I just see
win.
if it works out. I think it will, but
All right.
Thank you,
We'll
Ash,
see.
for doing it, saying that's why I didn't have to.
We got Kevin up here that hopped up with a question. So Kevin, if you want to take it away.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what the plans are for allowing people to build, like mini games inside the Star Atlas, universe and ecosystem. Like with all these ships, could people build, a racing league
yeah,
so
they've
people are
talked about this.
racing,
Yes,
or
yes, you will be able to.
like if people are decorating their ships, like ship contests, stuff like that, then having that kind of plug into the economy.
It's
Are
kind of
there
cool,
any thoughts
like
for that?
creative from Fortnite, but like built
Yeah,
in Star
twofold.
Atlas.
So let me describe it maybe, and this will probably be the only question we take because I'm sure I'm going to run on with this. It is a fantastic question. There's kind of like the in-universe experience, and then there are tangential experiences. I don't want to shamelessly promote anything else that I'm involved in, but that my previous company that launched Totes, I made an announcement on 420 of this year, very much on theme, but we are looking at developing a craft cannabis community that will be integrated into Star Atlas in some way and probably developed as this external world. So let me start with the tangent worlds, which is
a
we would
cannabis
love
community.
to have access points or gateways, portals
Okay.
into external
That's weird.
experiences that can
That's
actually
funny,
live
though.
inside our game client.
That
So when
is
you load
hilarious.
Star Atlas and you see the loading screen, you can either enter into, I'll just call it Star Atlas Core, but you can kind of go into the Star Atlas world, or you can select from a list of third-party developed
Gonna be growing-
environments, and
gonna be
they might
growing,
not be consistent with
Growing it in
our graphical design
in the
any
metaverse.
way, but it doesn't matter. Like what's important is we have this underlying community and user base that now kind of utilizes our client as a gateway to all of those external experiences, and
That's
vice
funny.
versa. By the way, we also see enormous value in these third-party experiences wanting to be involved and associated with Star Atlas as recruiting their own user base. And then those users by default will have an entry point into Star Atlas. So it's very synergistic. And so we're doing something like that with an entirely separate team. By the way, this is not through Automata, but entirely separate team that's working on building out that type of experience for Tokes. And we see that happening in multiples in the future. Now, in terms of can those same types of experiences live in Star Atlas? The answer there is really yes. In many ways, though, what I would kind of argue for is that we at Automata are probably not the arbiters of that decision. We'd really like to see that being driven through the DAO. And we would like to introduce and implement some baseline standards for the inclusion in the core Star Atlas world or universe, if you will, which is to say, it has to be built in UE, UE5, or whatever future iteration this game evolves into. It has to meet graphical standards, and maybe it has to be consistent in some way with the overall theme of Star Atlas. And if that happens, then that world, and it could even be a standalone planet, for example, that almost becomes an independent game. And if you're traveling around in your ship and you land on that planet, then you load yourself into a new game environment.
That'd be really
It could
cool.
even be I'm a really big fan of looter shooters, right? But maybe it's just some type of first-person shooter game. And again, when you land your ship on that planet,
like you go to like planet to planet, and like Star Atlas, it's almost like
that next
Roblox Star Atlas.
These are things
That's
that are
crazy.
Deeply conceptual, and I'm not sure when or where or if we'll get there, but absolutely love the idea, and absolutely love the idea of enabling this type of content creation and utilizing a unified user base to engage in all of them. It's almost, if I may, it's almost like building a Steam client, but in an immersive virtual world itself. So you're no longer using the Steam client, you're actually loading Star Atlas client. And as you navigate the world, you enter into new alternative game environments. So, but again, hopefully a lot of that will be driven by the DAO itself.
That blew my mind when you brought up the stream. Steam client, jeez.
Woo. Well, and it's such an interesting thing, right? When you think about like some of the history of like PC gaming, right? The biggest genre that exists. Well, I mean, FPS is up there, right? But the whole MOBA genre like started from one guy's idea on a Warcraft 3 add-on, right? Just very similar to sound like what you guys would like to empower and to encourage people to participate in. So that's like, I don't know, that's awesome. As like the world's biggest Dota fanboy, so you saying that, just my mind obviously starts running and going into all the places that I've seen really dope things just be born from simple ideas that grow and grow.
Hey, I could not agree more. And also, I mean, I think you guys probably know, longtime gamer, right? Grew up in the biggest nerd computer group in high school, and that's all we did every weekend was LAN parties. But Half-Life was coming out about that time, and I mean, Counter-Strike, which has ultimately evolved into CS:GO, was just a mod for Half-Life. Some of the most fun I've ever had in my life was just playing mods for Half-Life or mods for StarCraft.
I forgot about that.
Just mods for other games, and these were just kind of indie individual developers that loved the base platform and wanted to create around it. And so, to the extent that we can facilitate that, of course, I want to cultivate that and want to encourage that.
Cool.
Beautiful, man. And loved a lot of what you said, and especially kind of that ending off point. And really, like I said at the beginning, we're really big fans of what you guys are doing. We do want to kind of respect your time and get you guys out of here as close to the hour mark as possible. So just for anybody who might have filtered in, do you guys want to give like one little last quick plug about tomorrow's event?
Yeah, I do. If I can hop in real quick, I just want to say, so tomorrow we are having the the first ever 4 to 6 live event. This is going to be a live event hosted in the Star Atlas Discord. Michael already dropped a ton of alpha on.
I'm going to be streaming during that as well.
I guess not exactly what to expect,
I don't know
but there's going to be some really big things dropping tomorrow. Some big product releases are coming tomorrow. So definitely join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a really great time planned for you. It kicks off with a community warm-up event discussion panel at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I believe it's Pacific Standard Time. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, check your time zone.
Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We know that's my problem, right? Time zones. So it kicks off at 12 p.m. Eastern Time with a community event. They're going to have a live panel discussion from some of the top community members that have been involved with our project since the beginning. So it's going to be a really awesome discussion. And then we will kick off at 1 p.m. Eastern with the 4 to 6 live event. And you guys, I promise we have a lot of really awesome things dropping for you tomorrow. So
I'm pretty excited to see what I have to say
after
that call. I mean, there was like
the alpha that
giving
Michael
so
just
much
spent an hour
information
avoiding.
in that
I thought you were
call
about to
before
ruin
there was
it all
even like
at,
an
like, the
event
final
going on.
hour.
So, like I
No,
said,
no.
POLIS
I thought
staking is what I'm thinking is going to be announced.
You gotta wait
One of
until
the
tomorrow,
things
JP.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, a couple last closing things from the arcade side. we're doing the Gleam giveaway, so enter that. You guys are probably doing a lot of those
Yeah.
things anyway.
If you
So just
yeah,
go
if you're
sign up for the
watching,
Gleam
just you know
giveaway.
they're doing a
We're giving away
Gleam
$500 worth of
giveaway
ships. If you guys don't enter, there's a better chance
on
that JP gets them.
arcade to
He
earn.
doesn't need them. He has enough. So
If that's something
enter
you're
that.
interested in being involved in, you could win
And
one of these
on
ships
top of that, we do at
as
the end of
well.
every space that we do, we give away a role to anybody who goes and joins our Discord. So if you guys hit the arcade profile that's talking right now, join our Discord through the link that's in our bio. Tag me or tag JP in general chat. Tell us you were in the spaces. Shoot any questions you guys have to us. Tell us what you guys thought. We're going to give you guys
there,
this really special role.
That's where it is.
JP gave me we've never announced this yet. We're making NFTs, guys. We're going to give everybody who has that role free NFTs, and we've spent hours and hours and hours. Several of us have spent a lot of time making these like really special and having a lot of utility integrated into them. So
that's really interesting.
It's the first time we're saying that.
There
so we would love to give you guys some free NFTs.
Check that out, Solid Hunter. Get in on that. Telling you, get yourself that free
I can't
NFT.
say any more than that because JP's my boss and he'll fire me. But yeah, do those things. Michael, Ash, really appreciated the conversation and really excited about tomorrow. So thank you guys for the time and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. We're ready for the alpha.
Yeah,
awesome,
thank you for your time, Michael and Ashley. Really appreciate it. And yeah, look forward to the next one. And everyone, make sure that you tune into the live event tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll see you in the arcade Discord or the Star Atlas.
Nice. I'm excited for that. All right. Cool. Well, that's the end of the call. Thanks for stopping in, Solid Hunter. Like I said, I will be back tomorrow as well for the 426 event. But just wanted to bring that call to everybody so they could check it out beforehand tonight if they were interested. If you enjoyed, just the live stream and seeing what's going on with Star Atlas, like the video. Subscribe to the channel for more content that has to do with cryptocurrency and Star Atlas. And also check out my other videos if you're here watching right now. Thanks again. We'll see you guys in the next live stream in the next Critical Crypto.